Well, the city of pink colors, that's Jaipur, and today Rajasthan Royals are playing officially in their official home ground called the Savai Man Singh Stadium. It is the clash between the table toppers, Lucknow Super Giants and Rajasthan Royals, but more importantly, it is KL Rahul versus Sanju Samson. Two people who have divided opinions across the cricketing spectrum in India.
Yes.
Some people think Sanju Samson should be in the team rather than KL Rahul. And I had done one video, unfortunately, in which on the day of his birthday, I had said that KL Rahul, sometimes he consumes too many balls and bats conservatively. But with Samson, the problem is that he starts well, has a lean patch, then starts well, again has a lean patch. So Rajasthan Royals have chosen to bowl, and many people will be asking us, where are the other people? Well, you will be joined, they will join us soon. Nikhil and Rahul have become Batman for one day. What is the story of Batman? You'll come to know in the mid innings, because they will be there in the mid innings as well. So we are getting some people to join us virtually, and we hope that we can get them in. But which side of the debate are you in, Gargi? Before I come to the toss, Rajasthan Royals have chosen to bowl. I'll come to team combination later. But the Sanju Samson versus KL Rahul debate, whose side are you on? Or are you on any side?
I am on the side. I am on RR side, because I've said this many a times now that RR seems to be one of the strongest teams in the tournament, and I believe they are one of the strongest contenders for the trophy. And it wouldn't be a surprise if RR go on to win the trophy, because the way they've performed, their batting lineup is solid, their bowling lineup is solid. There are a few hiccups, of course. When are there not? There always has to be something. It cannot be a perfect match for anyone. So I believe RR is one of the strongest here. LSG also is a good contender, but when we compare it to RR, I believe thoda sa there's a gap between these two. I think RR is by far the most dominant team here.
Okay, you're talking about the team, but as far as the Indian cricket team slot is concerned, if you have to look at it, Sanju or KL Rahul, who do you think should be in the team considering the form factor?
Form factor. Well, we've looked at what KL Rahul has been struggling through the past, I think 1 year now, 1 or 2 years.
1 year.
1 year consistently, he's been not consistent. So I think this IPL season will be very, very important for KL Rahul to establish, to cement his place in the Indian squad. But Sanju Samson, like you said, he started off great. I don't think a few matches should be called a lean patch, because how many? 4 or 5 matches?
Just 2 games.
Just 2 games he has not performed out of 4 or 5. So I think that's not a great sample size to compare someone's lean patch to. But KL Rahul, it's going to be a very, very important season for KL Rahul. Sanju Samson, on the other hand, has been performing well again. Did get a few chances in the Indian squad, but then he has failed to perform when it comes to India. Whereas KL, on the other hand, seems to be, stepping up when it matters.
When it matters. And we are joined by Shane and Harshit. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you too. Good evening to you guys in the studio.
Yep, can you hear us properly?
The first question. I can hear you guys perfectly. I can hear Harshit also. Am I audible?
Hello, I think we seem to. Can you hear us properly, Shane, Harshit?
I can hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
It looks like we have some audio issues at this point in time. But again, see, when you look at KL Rahul and Sanju Samson, okay?
Yeah.
This clash, do you think going ahead, is it going to be, if suppose KL does not have, he has a very underwhelming season.
Yeah.
Sanju has a brilliant IPL season. Then is he fast-tracked into the Indian cricket team at the expense of KL? Because this clash, if you look at it, is the clash of those two divisions.
But then you have other batters also. Now you have Shubman Gill in the running. You have Rahul Tripathi. No, I think Rahul Tripathi would come in the middle orders.
Much later.
Later. But Shubman Gill is in the running. Rohit Sharma. We have Shikhar Dhawan's been performing well.
Yes.
So I think it's a very tough competition when it comes to the opening spot in the Indian squad. Does Sanju Samson fit in the opening squad? We'll have to see, because we've got veterans performing. We have Rohit Sharma, who's started to fire. Shikhar Dhawan is playing well. So it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to come into the Indian squad, you know.
Yep. And we are waiting for Harshit and Shane to join back. I think we had some audio issues.
Joined.
Can you hear us now,
yes,
Shane, Harshit?
Yeah, I could hear you perfectly.
Yes.
It's very muffled, but it's a very muffled voice coming from them. So we are trying to sort that out.
Yes.
So we'll take
So to both of us, Siddharth, are both of us not clearly audible?
Now we can hear you. Now we can hear you perfectly. Okay.
Okay, then let me test out as well. Can you hear me? Am I loud and clear?
Absolutely, you're loud and clear. Gentlemen, I'll ask this question one by one. Whoever can answer it first can go ahead. I think I'll start with you, Shane. This match is not just the match of the table toppers, okay? It is the match between KL Rahul and Sanju Samson. Two cricketers who have divided the the cricketing spectrum as vast as it can be. Do you think this match, if suppose KL doesn't have a good match, Sanju has a brilliant form, do you think those noises will only grow louder and louder as the IPL progresses? Shane, first you and then to Harshit.
See, I think the noises are already there. Let's be frank. We know for a fact Sanju Samson has a wonderful fan following. And truth be told, I think those noises are going to be there regardless of how he does today. But you have to remember that when it comes to the ODIs, then KL Rahul is very much ahead of him as far as the pecking order is concerned. Because KL Rahul, all but a certainty to be starting at number 5. Whereas with Sanju, I think he'd have to slot in, assuming Shreyas Iyer is not fit or out of form once he does return. And we don't know what the time frame is. But yeah, I think if Sanju puts in a good performance today, I mean, all throughout the IPL season, he makes himself harder to ignore. Which, to be fair to a lot of people, he already is.
Harshit, what about you?
Well, I to a large extent, Siddharth, agree with what Shane just said. But the one addition, let's say, that I have to that is that regardless of, today's match, if, let's say, Sanju Samson ends up having the kind of season that, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, yeah. So I was just saying that, if Sanju Samson ends up having one mind-blowing season, which I still think he hasn't had, and what has happened, over the last few years, is that KL Rahul has been a consistent performer. He's been there in the top 3, top 4 run getters. Now, if that doesn't happen for KL Rahul, and it looks to be the case given the 4 matches that we've seen him perform so far, and on the contrary, or on the other side, if we see Sanju Samson really, take everyone by surprise and pile on runs, let's say just about 450, 500 runs if he's able to give us, then he puts himself ahead of, KL Rahul, if you ask me. Even in the ODI scheme of things, yes, Shreyas Iyer and his unavailability, Sanju Samson gets a place in the side, given that, Surya Kumar Yadav hasn't really, grabbed those opportunities that well. But if KL Rahul has an underwhelming season, and he's had, let's say, an underwhelming couple of months already, and there are a few, things that have gone against him. Talk about the fact that his contract has been downgraded, the fact that, he's not in the test scheme of things. So if the IPL also doesn't go well for him and Sanju really sets the stage on fire, I think Sanju Samson, this may, it may as well be that year for Sanju Samson. That is vast fan base, and let's say commentators and YouTubers like us also have been waiting for.
Yes, the Sanju Samson debate has been dominating sports today, Gargi, ever since the last 1 year. And one of our family members, he's an ardent Sanju Samson supporter. But okay, I will just throw this googly to you both, and then I will come to Gargi. Supposing Shane and Harshit, both Sanju Samson and KL Rahul have a slightly underwhelming IPL with the bat. But what if Sanju Samson goes on to win the IPL title? What happens then? Shane.
That's an interesting one, really, because quite frankly, I think if he wins the IPL title, he came very close last year as well, if I remember. He was in the final, got about 400 odd runs. But I think for him, more than him winning the title, I think what the focus will be what he can do. Because again, it's not like KL Rahul has been a part of IPL winning teams in recent memory. Before last year with Lucknow, he was part of a Punjab side that made it a habit to finish 5th or 6th and just about miss out on the playoffs after having lost one too many close games. It never really stopped anyone from appreciating his batting, because I remember 2018 also, I think he was his best year because he got like 600 odd runs, was striking it at about 150. I think that's what Sanju needs. Get about 500 odd runs where you're striking it. And his strike rate isn't a problem. His strike rate has been consistently brilliant, and especially so for a number 3-4 batsman, very, very good. So that's not a problem. But I think he needs to get a volume of runs where he can actually like point it on a sheet and be like, yeah, I have these many runs at this strike rate. Ignore me now. And to be fair, it's not like the BCCI have ignored him entirely. I mean, last year he was consistently a part of the ODI setup. In fact, he was arguably your best batsman alongside Shreyas Iyer. And and he was doing it in a much more difficult position because he was coming in at like 5 and having to be a finisher, something which he'd been training for. So I think that 5 slot now, unfortunately, is taken by KL. But Samson's versatile enough that he could fit in the number 4 slot in there comfortably. He just needs to keep playing his natural game. And I think he needs to keep scoring runs. What he does with the title, if he wins it, great. But I think he's already there on the radar. He just needs to put his hand up there and be like, no, I am the man. There should be zero doubt whatsoever. That's what Sanju Samson needs.
Harshit?
Yes, I think Shane's hit the nail on its head, because I don't think let's just go back to last year, and I'll just sort of substantiate or add to what Shane just said, because you look at last year, both teams, both RR and LSG finished in the top 4, but you still had a KL Rahul who got the backing of the team or of the board, let's say, through the course of the last 1 year. Now that had to do with the fact that KL Rahul finished as one of the top run getters in previous edition of the IPL. It didn't have to do, and nobody was talking about KL Rahul, the leader, let's say. So even today, I think that logic is going to apply this year as well. It doesn't matter whether you win the title or not. What matters is how you perform on the day, how you perform all through the course of the tournament. So even if Sanju Samson is a title winner, let's say, it doesn't help his case. What helps his case is only runs.
Okay, Gargi, what about you?
Similar answer as Harshit and Shane. I don't think just winning the IPL trophy will ensure him a place in the squad, because that does not guarantee anything, of course. You need to have runs. If you want to place in the Indian batting lineup, you need to have runs behind you. You need to have a good strike rate. Just an IPL trophy will not ensure that. Also, I think it will be a little difficult because we've seen him in and out of the Indian squad. Like I said, he hasn't been, taking his chances and, seizing the moment as of now. But KL Rahul also, again, has been a regular in the Indian team for many years now. And we've seen what kind of backing he's getting from the management. I think, nothing to discredit his work, but I think he's done something very, very right to gain that sort of trust from the management. That does not happen every day, that you don't perform for a year or so and still get the management to back you the way they have. So I think with KL, looking at his performances, I think he will do well this season. So I think Indian management might just stick with him.
Okay, I'll come to the teams and the impact subs and all later, but last point before we come to the teams, okay? As I pointed out, why this division is so there between Sanju Samson and KL Rahul. Varun Parvatneni is saying, this is going to be a sort of KL redemption game. If he puts up a quick-fire performance with 150 plus strike rate, I think the noise will die down. That is Varun's assessment. GGK on the other hand is saying Sanju is way ahead of KL in both batting and keeping. RR is like the MI team of 2020. Sanju will be MVP of this season. Gargi first. Personally, I don't agree with the point that RR is like the MI of 2020. Yes, they are looking very strong on paper, but that MI team was the dream team. But what is your assessment? First on, you may say, Varun's assessment and GGK's assessment.
What was
Varun's assessment saying KL, if he scores a good knock, 150 plus strike rate, the noise will die down. But Sanju is way ahead of KL when it comes to batting and bowling and keeping. That is what GGK is saying. So, is that assessment fair enough?
Talking about the noise, I don't think one good knock will, make that noise stop, because again, he hasn't been performing for a year or so. So he's going to have to get a few bunch of good performances and really good performances, for that matter, to win the hearts of the Indian fans that has been very very vile against KL Rahul.
Vile,
so I
yes.
think it has to be a few very brilliant knocks from KL Rahul to win the hearts of the Indian fans again. And then what was the other point?
That Sanju has been ahead of KL when it comes to batting and keeping.
Okay, fair enough. You can say that, of course, because both the batters have supporters, so they'll always take their sides. The fans will always take their sides, but that is not our lookout. That is the Indian management's lookout to see who's been doing well, and we just see one dimension of what goes on in a player's story, and there are so many other aspects to look at, the way they are in the dressing room, the way they are at practice or whatever. These things come into play. So I think I wouldn't want to, I don't think I have an opinion on who's better.
Right. Well, that's fair enough. Shane, what about you?
I mean, see, I think going into who's the better this and who's the better that kind of opens up a can of worms, and then either I'll be called a KL hater, which people already call me, or I'll be called unfair on Sanju Samson, which I'm really not. I think I kind of assess them both with as fair a lens as I possibly can. And so I think, see, if you're looking at with KL, why he tends to get more brick bats, let's say, is because he's kind of been in the team set up for a long, long time. And now he's finally got this chance to, let's say, impress. And because for years when he was in fact doing the job which he was supposed to be doing, he was more often than not playing in the middle order. He's having to slot in because he had a Shikhar Dhawan there. Now there's no Shikhar Dhawan there. So a lot of people were kind of expecting him to step up to the plate, get to the next level, use whatever cliche you want. They're all applicable. Hasn't quite happened. So now people are like, how long a run is too much of a run? And that's a fair question, but truth be told, whilst he's struggled in patches, he's also had some good moments. I mean, he's done well in Test cricket for the most part. ODIs, I think this year, and in fact, even going back to whatever little he was playing last year, your better bats. That being said, though, I think the team should be looking at someone like a Samson in some way, at least in the squad, if not necessarily the playing 11, because the guy is just too talented to leave out. Yes, I know his time in international cricket probably hasn't produced the best results. There's a valid argument to be made that he's not made the most of whatever limited chances he's got. But there's also a counterpoint in saying that he's never really gotten a sustained run. And I think one of the reasons why KL Rahul tends to get a lot of brick bats again is because he's gotten unequivocal backing. It's quite frankly amazing. And on one hand, I won't laud it. And on the other hand, it seems like you're sticking to something even though it's not always working out. So I think that's where some of the vitriol comes from. That being said, I want to see both of these guys in the squad. You can't discount KL right now because, again, he's been really good in ODIs. But I want Sanju there as well because I think he'd be a very good option to have. And of course, if you're looking at him purely from a wicket-keeping perspective, then yes, Sanju's a full-time keeper. Of course, he'd be better at the job than KL. Ideally, you bring him in there, but how do you discount Rahul the batter now?
Yep. Harshit.
Well, yeah, one of the reasons I feel that the Sanju Samson camp feels rather aggrieved, I would say, or rather disgruntled with the way things have been working or have been, they've panned out in Indian cricket is because, Sanju Samson gives you these glimpses every now and then. He will do something that will just set the stage on fire. And then, of course, these big questions pop up as to why this man isn't given a sustained run. But there is, one thing that goes against Sanju Samson and, on the other hand, works in favor of KL Rahul is that come what may, KL Rahul fixes things when it comes to the IPL. So for those 2 months, KL Rahul will, make himself look like one of the top batters in the world. And let's not forget that everything that happens during the course of the IPL stays not just in the minds of the selectors and the board, but also public view as well. So people remember that much longer. So that is where KL Rahul, for everything that goes wrong in international cricket, ends up redeeming himself in IPL. But with Sanju Samson, he doesn't give you consistency, and that's the thing that's gone against him. So if Sanju Samson, and I'll say this again, if he can have a consistent run of the 5 games I think that he's played so far, thrice he's produced good knocks. The last one I was the most impressed with. Yes, there were 2 ducks also, one coming in 4 balls, the other I think in 2 balls. But barring that, if Sanju Samson can give us on a consistent basis, runs through the course of the IPL, he makes a very good case for himself, given that Shreyas Iyer isn't there in the scheme of things because of his injury. Surya Kumar Yadav hasn't grabbed his opportunities, and KL Rahul has, even though he saved on a couple of occasions in the recent ODI series, you could be looking at Sanju Samson in some way, very much trying to bring that door down and say, listen, now you have to make a choice between me and KL Rahul. I have given you those runs that you asked for.
Okay, so this KL Rahul versus Sanju Samson debate is going to go on and on and on, and will continue to go on and on after the end of this game also. So let me just go over the playing 11s of both the sides. Remember, Rajasthan have won the toss and they have chosen to bowl. So this is the bowling 11 that Rajasthan have got, okay? Joss Butler, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Sanju Samson, no surprises there. Riyan Parag, Shimron Hetmeyer, Dhruv Jurel, Ravichandran Ashwin. One change, Zampa is out, Holder is in. Trent Bolt, Sandeep Sharma, Yuzvendra Chahal. Man, oh man, that batting and bowling of Rajasthan Royals is an absolute envy. I mean, as far as depth is concerned in both the departments, I've never seen them any better than this. And
now with the inclusion of Holder, we've got an even deeper batting lineup, because Zampa was in the last one, and I don't think you can really, Zampa adds the same dimension to batting as Holder does.
So maybe your impact player might once again be Devdutt Padikkal then? Because Padikkal is mentioned in the subs there.
Yes.
Along with Joe Root, Donovan Pereira and all the others also.
I think they just might do what they did the last time.
Yeah. Murugan Ashwin, Devdutt Padikkal, Donovan Ferreira, Navdeep Saini, Akash Vashisht. So since Rajasthan are bowling first, they will probably want to get Devdutt Padikkal in and sub one of the bowlers, maybe Sandeep Sharma or Yuzi Chahal in the second innings.
Definitely.
Then as far as Lucknow Super Giants are concerned, KL Rahul, Kyle Mayer, still no Quinton de Kock. Deepak Hooda, Marcus Stoinis, Krunal Pandya, Nicholas Pooran, Ayush Badoni, Naveen ul Haq. He did impress a bit, but it is their fast bowling lineup that doesn't inspire me that much of confidence. I'm sorry, because Avesh Khan, unfortunately, he has not been doing well for them at all. And if you look at it, I think we are missing one of the teams. Yes, we are missing one of the teams. So maybe if Lucknow are batting first, then their bowling sub either has to be Krishnappa Gautam or Amit Mishra. Guys, satisfied with the team 11s? Do you think Quinton de Kock continues to be unlucky? Harshit? Can we hear him? I think
Now the audio's just dipped, I guess.
yeah, it has. It
has.
It did. I can hear you now.
Could you just
Darshan, go for
come
it.
with the question?
Yeah, do you think Quinton de Kock is unlucky to have missed out, considering that Mayers has not performed in the last 2-3 matches?
I think I heard that. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're asking if Quinton de Kock got a bit unlucky?
Yes.
I'm guessing you say that because he didn't really fire last time around, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think Siddharth, the answer to that is, and I don't quite think that Quinton de Kock has been extremely unlucky here, because see, 2 things over here. One, that Kyle Mayers hasn't been, let's say, awful, if I can use that word. He has been hot and cold, if I can put it subtly. He's been hot and cold. He's actually given you the kind of starts you were so used to getting from Quinton de Kock, and he sort of filled that role in those 2-3 knocks that he played, through 2-3 times that he played well. Yes, on 2 occasions I think he completely misfired, but even then, the winning combination is something, teams really don't like to tinker with a lot. And they know that, the opening slot isn't for LSG isn't that big a worry as, let's say, the middle order perhaps is, but they've not made any changes there as well. They've stuck with the Krunal, they've stuck with the Deepak Hooda. So no changes over there. Puran, of course, is that lone warrior of sorts, if I can call him, in that middle order, who single-handedly won them two matches, if I'm not wrong, definitely the previous one. But having said that, I think Kyle Mayers hasn't done too much wrong for him to be, pulled out of the side. And yes, we've seen that trend change, that, he isn't starting, he isn't opening the bowling for him on the first couple of occasions. I remember at the start of the tournament, he would bowl the first over, but then not be brought back into attack. Perhaps today as well, you could see similar tactics being deployed, maybe an over or two here or there from him. Quinton doesn't give you that option. And like I said, it's a winning combination and it's been doing relatively well, not as well, let's say, as some of the other teams. But let's not forget that it's 1 versus 2. LSG would be happy with where they are in the table, and which is why it's not really time for them to make wholesale changes, and especially not up top.
Shane, again, you remember in the previous match we discussed that Lucknow's batting position, the middle order is like a muddle order. Will they do something different and get Ayush Badoni up the order, or do you think they'll continue the same batting layout?
I did think that would be a good call, because Badoni is much better at the the top of the order. Let's say 3-4 at best. But based on I think based on what they've done so far, and their logic would be is that it really hasn't worked out as ideally as you'd like, but it has been working okay considering we're second on the table. I don't see them making that change. And even I remember a lot of people were saying that you could bring in a Quinton de Kock for someone like, say, Marcus Stoinis, because he's not been bowling much, and you can chuck him in the middle order. But if you bring Quinton de Kock into the middle order, it becomes an even bigger muddle order, let's say, because right now their problem isn't really the top of the order. I think Mayers hasn't really done anything that bad where he deserves to be dropped, because he's given them some really explosive starts, and of course he'll bowl that 1 or 2 overs at most in the power plays. But I think you're fine sticking with him for now, and I don't think it makes any sense bringing Quinton in just yet. Other position you could have bought him would have been for Puran, but Puran's been their match winner so far, so I think that's also not working. I want to see them jig that middle order a bit, because again, they've stuck with Deepak Hooda. I'm a little surprised, I will say, because I did think that maybe if he's not put in one single good performance, maybe you could have actually brought in a Krishnappa Gautam. They're sticking with him though, so let's see. Ideally, even a Hooda is best at a 3-4. The days of him being a 5-6 are long gone. So there are some issues there, but this has been working out okay for them so far, considering the fact that they are second on the table. So maybe they're thinking, okay, we're doing okay. Why do we really need to make wholesale changes? And I think they're going to stick with what they have.
Okay, as far as Gargi, we are concerned, the impact player.
Yeah.
Devdutt Padikkal for Rajasthan Royals, because they're going to bat second.
Yes.
But Lucknow Super Giants, Mishra or Gautam, according to you?
I think it would be Gautam.
Okay, despite the fact that Mishra is a better bowler, because they'll be bowling second.
It really, it's a tricky question today, because obviously Mishra has been like you said, is a better bowler, but Gautam also has been subbed in before as the impact player. So the management is seeing something that we aren't. So really difficult. I think it's still going to be Gautam.
It will be Gautam, mostly if you look at it, because Krishnappa Gautam will come in and replace either one of, you may say, because they are bowling second. Maybe one of the batters will have to go out then in that case. So maybe Ayush Badoni goes out.
Yeah, I was just about
Badoni goes out and Gautam comes in. That may be the thing after the Lucknow Super Giants. So all the players are out there. Ashwin, as pointed out, he was getting a lot of spin bowling in the side wickets at the Savai Mansingh. So was Yuzi Chahal. I think this spin duo is what is giving Rajasthan Royals that X factor, plus that batting. Oh man, it is absolutely, you've got now a finisher in the form of Shimron Hetmeyer. Even your Indian finisher in Dhruv Jurel has been fantastic. So Holder in place of Ashwin, but Ashwin has been coming up the order also. So that is the surprise element that they're throwing each and every time. So this match is going to be very, very difficult for me to call, because it's two very good teams. not surprisingly, who are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It all depends, I think, their captains. I think their
Definitely.
captains will be making sure that what should be the, which team wins what, because either with tactics or with the bat. That will be the ultimate thing. We have it. And predictions. Guys, Shane, with you, who do you think score prediction and who's going to win?
The score predictions are toughy because I don't think we've had a match at the Savai Man Singh Stadium yet.
Yep.
But wait, who's batting first again? Just fill me. It was Lucknow, was it?
Yep.
Lucknow.
Yes.
All right. So let's see. I think Lucknow will get about 175, but I'm expecting Rajasthan to get the win.
Okay, one more tougher prediction. KL Rahul 50.
No, Sanju Samson 50.
Okay.
Harshit.
I'll also go with an RR win here. First game for them at the Savai Man Singh Stadium in this edition of the IPL. So I'm expecting them to, emerge victorious in front of the home crowd. As far as the score prediction goes, I will go with 171 for LSG.
Okay. Gargi.
Okay, so looking at the ground, because it is a fairly large ground and the boundaries are over 65 meters, all of them, just one, barring one boundary, one side, my
One
bad.
side, yeah.
And looking at the LSG batting lineup, I'm going to say the maximum that's going to come out of the LSG batting lineup will be 185.
Okay.
And RR win, of course.
RR win. Well, Trent Bolt nearly pulled off a miraculous, you may say, Xerox copy of the dismissal that he did to KL Rahul in 2022. Oh, just missed. One coat of varnish more and KL Rahul would have been on his way. I am saying 180,
Okay.
but Rajasthan Royals in their home ground with this batting and bowling lineup, they look very strong. So
Yeah.
it's 4-0 Saransh.
So
Of course.
are we going to be tagged now KL Rahul haters all over again?
Shane-
I've already been tagged one. What are you talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lucknow, okay. Shivam, obviously he will say Lucknow because
Shivam, of course, yeah.
no, because it is a very close match. I mean, I'll say it's two good teams.
Rajasthan, Halla Bowl.
Halla
They're
Bowl.
playing at home after 4.
But did Saransh steal Manoj's t-shirt?
Yep. See?
RR today.
Okay, Shane, ask him. KKR versus RR game. What's going to happen? Which jersey is he going to wear?
KKR. I like KKR.
That's obviously he'll wear the KKR jersey. We all know that.
Of course. See, if any team wins, it's going to give them tremendous momentum heading into the
Yeah.
IPL 2023.
Definitely.
Second half. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-1 in favor of Rajasthan Royals winning. But Lucknow, if they win, it's going to be a big, big boost to their campaign. So
Definitely.
thank you so much, folks. And thank you so much, Shane and Harshit, for spending valuable time on Sports Today.
Yeah.
Pleasure having you guys.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Harshit. Enjoy. Bye-bye. And thank you so much
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
for joining us in this live. Don't worry, the special guests and
Will
a
come back.
lot more interesting stories are coming up.
Yes.
Because our two batsmen have gone somewhere and they'll be back joining us in the mid-innings. Join us in the mid-innings for LSG versus RR. It's going to be a cracking contest today at the SMS Stadium or Savai Man Singh Stadium. Thank you. Bye-bye. Subscribe to Sports Today. Tap
Bye.
that bell icon. Show us some love on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, folks. Bye-bye.